Hello my fellow smug ones, I hope you're all okay. Well, I bet Tim Davie is feeling really smug with himself at the minute, isn't he? With the news that MPs want to extend the TV licence way beyond the current 2027 Royal Charter TV licence protection. Well Tim, you're not going to be very smug for long I'm afraid, because I don't think it's going to happen. And here's why. Let's begin. Okay, as many of you will know, I don't actually have a dedicated upload schedule, so the best way to see my videos as soon as I put them online is by clicking that subscribe button and notification bell. Okay, this story is from the Daily Express, and they say UK faces BBC licence fee for the next 17 years, despite limited shelf life, according to MPs. Well, they're in for a nasty shock, and I'll explain why in a minute. The UK may have the BBC TV licence fee model until 2038 as the best way to fund the corporation, MPs have said in a report. And it's only the best way for the BBC. It's the worst way for us public because we are the ones who have to pay out for it. Now these MPs, they're on around 80,000 a year, I think it is. So for them, 157 or soon to be 159 pounds is nothing to them, is it? I mean, they probably earn so much, they could probably wipe their bums with £20 notes if they wanted to, couldn't they? And while this does not sound good at all, that MPs are considering even extending the TV licence beyond 2027, I've got a feeling it won't happen. And that is because of one thing: streaming services. How many more streaming services could we possibly get from now until 2038? I mean, how many streaming services did we have 17 years ago? Have a guess. Yes, that's right, none. None whatsoever. And now we've got Amazon Prime, Netflix, Now TV, Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, Discovery Plus, soon to be Paramount Plus, I think is in America at the moment, BritBox, and obviously that's quite a lot, isn't it? But most of them actually launched within the last 5 or so years, didn't they? Before that, I think it was mainly Now TV and Netflix. So it just makes you wonder how many more streamer services will have launched between now and 2027. And with every one that does launch, the BBC TV licence fee will seem more and more outdated, won't it? Anyway, let's see what their reasoning behind this is. A Commons Select Committee said the government had missed the boat to reform the funding model. Well, why is that? Technically, the current funding model is in place until 2027, which is 5 years away. So there's plenty of time to come up with another funding model between now and then, isn't there? So they haven't missed the boat at all, in my opinion. The group suggested the failure to find an alternative meant the licence fee must remain in place for now. Yes, for now, not until 2038. It's ridiculous. A government spokeswoman said the current model will be reviewed before the BBC Charter ends in 2027. So that's completely contradicted what the Select Committee has said, isn't it? The report was published by the Department for Digital Culture, Media and Sports Select Committee on Thursday. Julia Knight, DCMS, Committee Chair and Conservative MP, said, "It's clear that the BBC licence fee has a limited shelf life in a digital media landscape." And more MPs will, I'm guessing, think this the more time goes on, especially if their constituents write to them and say, well, actually, we don't want to pay this tax. Can you get rid of it, please? However, the government has missed the boat to reform it. Instead of coming up with a workable alternative, it has sealed its own fate through a failure to develop a broadband infrastructure that would allow serious consideration of other means to fund the BBC. Now, I'm getting a bit fed up with all this broadband talk. Broadband has got nothing to do with TV. I know Netflix and Amazon Prime and all the other streaming services use broadband, but that doesn't mean broadband should have anything to do with the TV licence. I'm sorry, it doesn't at all in my opinion. And the more they're talking about this does make it sound like we'll be getting some sort of broadband tax added onto our broadband bill. But I don't see that happening either. Can you imagine how that would seem? We've had to pay a monthly cost for the internet ever since it launched way back in around the mid-90s. However, for the government to slap on a £13.13 extra monthly charge to that is for the birds, in my opinion, as MPs would say. And it just will not happen. Even if they cut that down to, they say, £5 or £6 a month, it just won't happen at all. I can't see it happening. And there's lots of other ways to fund the BBC instead of slapping a tax on broadband, isn't there? There's subscription, and if they do that, they could open up their content to the whole world and might actually get, I don't know, about 3 or 4 extra viewers maybe? Or there's advertising, which is my personal favourite for the BBC to do, because that way it would be companies funding the BBC and not us. And also that way we'd be able to watch other companies' TV channels live, like ITV and Sky, without having to pay the BBC, which is how it really should be in this day and age, isn't it? In the report, the committee said it had explored existing alternatives to the licence fee, but no other models were sufficiently attractive to justify recommending, not least given the disruption and expense of doing so. And I wonder why that is. Could it be the reason why it's not sufficiently attractive to recommend is because the TV licence costs about twice as much as streaming services. So if you went subscription route, you probably wouldn't get nowhere near the amount you get at the moment. That, I'm guessing, probably is the case. It added, on balance, the licence fee remains the preferred option for that period. Until 2027, there's nothing that can be done at all about the licence fee. However, beyond that, I think UMPs will have a shock, because the recent YouGov poll, which I think was done in January, says around 2/3 of people do not want the licence fee at all. And that is going to grow as more and more people cancel their TV licences every day. So I think you'll find it extremely hard to justify extending a TV licence beyond the current 2027 deadline. The corporation has said it welcomed the report, I bet they did, and the conclusion that the licence fee is the best way of funding a universal BBC. Look at that word there, universal. Could it be the BBC is trying to say, actually no, we are impartial, we are not biased at all? I'm sorry, you are quite biased in my opinion, and I don't think you're universal at all. The committee had also suggested the BBC's target of a 5.6% licence fee evasion rate is likely to be missed by a significant margin. So how they even think they can extend it beyond 2027 is just nonsense, isn't it? In my opinion, it really is, because that number is only going to grow, isn't it? Mr. Knight said public service broadcasters can only hope to compete with the likes of Netflix if they bring together their resources. He added, the collaboration by the BBC and ITV on BritBox is a striking example of how they can work to create a non-stop shop for video on-demand content and a model for future work. And this is exactly why their current broadband excuse reason for extending the TV licence just is a bit silly in my opinion, because Netflix and Amazon Prime seem to be doing all right, don't they? I know they're in other countries, but they do pretty well within the UK itself. And if the public aren't funding the BBC, then surely it won't matter if one or two homes can't watch the BBC. But if the BBC are worried about that, they could always do a deal with Sky, couldn't they? For people who can't view the BBC and have their channels scrambled unless they pay whatever subscription the BBC wants. Because then, if people actually wanted to watch the BBC, they would have to pay for the BBC, wouldn't they? And Sky's available for over 99% of the country. So in my opinion, there's just no excuse for this. It's just a bit ridiculous, isn't it? They just want the money to keep coming in, don't they, while they sit on their bums doing nothing, in my opinion. However, the committee warned there is a real risk that the licence fee model will become unsustainable due to payments being evaded. It called on the BBC to be more precise and give up-to-date figures on evasion. It makes you wonder what year evasion that was at 5.6%. I'm guessing it's much higher than that now. Mr. Knight said, we want the BBC to address real concerns about the licence fee evasion. We've heard the current rates are significantly higher than the figures it has published to date. This matters because there is a real risk that the BBC licence fee funding model could become unsustainable as a result of evasion. And that is why, in my opinion, that this talk that they're going to extend the TV licence possibly up to 2038, another 17 years from now and 11 years from their current Royal Charter TV licence protection, is a bit silly in my opinion, because it's not going to happen, I don't think. Because as I said, with every new streaming service that comes out, people will think, well, hang on a minute, this is only costing me £5 or £6. Why am I paying £13 or probably £15 by 2038? Why am I paying it? And they just won't, will they? So more and more people will cancel the BBC licence, and it will probably just fall on its own sword, in my opinion. So I don't think there's anything to worry about here, even though MPs are trying to make you think there is for some reason. Anyway, let me know what you think. Here are some of my other videos for you to watch next. If you're a legend, click that like button down there. It really does help me out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.